Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And brought to you by the Sioux Empire Podcast Network. This is Urban Indianz Podcast. Educated and entertaining look at life through the eyes of the modern-day Native American. Urban Indianz Podcast. Hosted by everyone's favorite natives. Night Shield, Night Shizzle, Miss Shark Green Maximal, GP, Gorilla Pimp, and Kathy Stans. You're listening to Urban Indianz Podcast.
All right, welcome to episode 18 of the Urban Indianz Podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Nightshield, joined as always by Shar and Levi.
Hello.
Today we have special guest in the house, Jennifer White of Post Pilgrim.
Hello, y'all.
All right, maybe give us a little background on yourself, Jennifer.
Sure. I'm a Rickara Indian. I own Post Pilgrim Art Gallery. We feature Northern Plains Indian artists. We choose to celebrate Final Friday instead of First Friday at our space. Just to put the attention back on art, and we feature non-native artists once a month, and this month we're doing voluptuous and velvet, and we're featuring the designs of Ari. She's a local designer here who has made a lingerie line that is all handmade, velvet, rhinestones, pearls, the whole bit. We're also featuring a local rocker girl, Baby D. She's one of my personal heroes. She's a sweet gal. She's smart as a whip, and she's incredibly talented, and she's a voice to be reckoned with here in the future now and in the future for not just women, but rockers in general. She's a cool chick.
It's awesome. That is awesome. Actually, Levi's AKA's Baby D.
Yeah.
Right on.
I got a trademark too.
Well, she's much littler than this Baby D. Alright? Yeah, she's the real baby. I don't know. This is big baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to that voluptuous and velvet. Any excuse to go look at some ladies in lingerie.
Amen.
You know.
Rachel said he's gonna go up there and show the stuff.
Yeah.
So.
No photography. Get that shit out of here.
I was hoping you guys have some breech cloths or loin cloths.
It's all up to her. That's an artist's free space right there, man.
So does she have her own models coming for that or whatever?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
From Sioux Falls, or where's she based?
She's out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and she's actually, this is her second time showing, and her first show blew everyone away. She killed it. She did very, very well. I think it's gonna be the same kind of lineup. It's gonna be music, art, and fashion, and then last year we did have a live auction, but I don't think we're going to plan on doing that this year. That's the only change to the real template that we have formed, and she's actually my first designer that I've had in there, and she's incredible. She's tenacious, driven, and smart, but they all are. I love all my artists.
That's awesome.
Good
that is
people.
super cool.
Good people.
I'm really excited to go to it. I
it's gonna
checked
be
it
cool.
out online, and I seen some of the pieces, and I'm like, wow.
It's going to be cool.
Is there going to be native models?
No.
No?
I doubt
Is
it.
that flat butt?
I doubt
The
it.
flat butt.
In the lingerie, you're doing my line justice
I think
here.
you need hips. That stuff, you know?
Well, what's really cool, I think, is that you stand behind your artist, because every artist needs somebody to stand behind them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Every artist does, and sometimes it gets real stressful. Sometimes when you feel like when somebody isn't behind you or supporting you with that kind of a strength.
Absolutely.
Not financial or anything, but just the belief in the person. So it's so what you're doing is God's work right there. So.
I believe the financial support, the financial ability to assist these people in any way that they can do keep doing what they're doing, that's also my obligation. I am an artist myself. This is run by artists, for artists, by artists.
Nice.
You know, by the people, for the people. That's Post Pilgrim, man.
Yeah, that's
And I get
fantastic.
it. I absolutely get it. And
That's a tribe.
yeah,
You know?
word. It really is, man.
That's awesome. What kind of art do you do?
I'm a painter. I like to sculpt as well. We're just now getting ready. Most visual artists that work on circuits right now, we're all getting ready to do our own circuits, whether it be like Santa Fe, Indianapolis, Montana, all of those shows. But this is kind of the end of our creation period and really getting down to the business side of who we are as artists. So as Native artists, we work, and rebuild ourselves, like emotionally during our off times, but then during the season, that's when we get to hone in and really work on who we are from a business person's perspective. And that's the part that I think lacks so much education. So many educational opportunities are missed when Native artists, professional Native artists, are allowed to discuss the details and the nitty-gritty of what it really is to be your own business woman or your own business person. And that's something that I always try to reach out to the young people that come into my space. You can be good all day, but if you don't work, you're not going to get it done.
Yeah.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. That's something that I've had to deal with a lot with, like, super talented people, but they got no hustle.
Right?
And it's just like, oh man,
Amen.
it's wasted.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah. And I am a hustler. You
Yeah.
have to be, man.
Yeah.
You have to be.
You can't just
Yeah.
survive on talent alone anymore.
Nope.
You have to.
You never have been able
Yeah,
to.
that's
really.
true. Yeah,
Never have
that is
been
true.
able to.
People wonder, like, as far as like, because Levi and I are hip hop artists, but they're like, how come they got all these mumble rappers that are garbage now, and they're probably like the biggest hustlers out there, getting their music out there, and like you can be talented all day, but if you're not like out there hustling and making
That payola, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, in South Dakota alone, the arts, musically, visually, I mean, it's a hard sale. I mean, not that people in South Dakota don't appreciate the arts, but there's definitely lacking the perspective of how important it is to our culture as South Dakotans, how important it is to our culture as human beings to realize the relevancy between art and just who we are as a people. And instead of, building bridges to close those gaps, they're cutting out art and music to create a whole different level of the kind of people that can afford that kind of luxury. And I think it's bullshit.
Word.
It should be free, it should be open. That's what art is. That's what artists do. That's who we are.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
art isn't made by the rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the most part. To interject, people will see me on my phone a little bit over here. I'm answering. I'm keeping track of everybody's comments and everything like that. I asked where people were from, and we got somebody listening. Gail from Chicago, Illinois. That's a nice reach.
Hey, I'll be in Chicago in March, Gail. I'm not even kidding. Woman Main Gallery, man. I made the show.
We got Amber from Jacksonville, North Carolina, so that's good reach too.
Sorry, Amber.
Thank you for listening. Sorry, we're not coming North
That's Night
Cackalack.
Shield's fault, right?
Yeah, my bad.
And it already seems like people are pretty appreciative that we're recording early today because of the AFC, NFC.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I had to make that happen.
Yeah,
I'm not missing the Vikings.
Gail specifically said there should be a law about people working and missing the NFL, AFC, NFC championship games. I said that's why we're recording early, and she said AFC already started though, and I said, well, we're just trying to get home from the Vikings.
Yeah, we just care about the Vikings. The Patriots are gonna win anyway.
I personally don't give a shit about none of that shit, but for Night Shield, we're gonna get home early for the Vikings.
Yeah. Shout out to Chase Manhattan for the Hustle Tribe.
Yeah, that's a cool shirt. I was wondering since we talked to him from the last episode.
Yeah.
I seen him
is
at
pretty
Illinois.
Oh,
He didn't
yeah.
recognize me.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did
He's like, you look totally different. I'm like, yeah, I do look different when I wear makeup.
it. That's a cool blend, though.
Yeah.
Even just because it's like a play on imagery, though, but still,
This,
it kind
I'm
of
pretty
reminds
sure
me of
this
like,
was like his first design, and then this thing like took off, and then he just made a fucking bunch of them.
like despite
has, like, every
the
team.
crossover logo stuff, there is like some slight history involved with that, like with the Native Americans and Leif Erikson and Vikings and stuff, and how we
Yeah.
tell each other's stories. You know what I mean? So it's actually culturally pretty sweet. That one, I don't know what the rest look like, but that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, there's
They all
a
look
lot
pretty
of cool
similar.
shit. Yeah.
Just different colors for the team.
Now, Post Pilgrim has been here in Sioux Falls for what, like a couple years now, right?
Well, we just had our first birthday in April.
Has it only been a year?
Yeah.
Well, it's going on 2 years now,
Yeah.
right?
And it's
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because I
Yeah.
went there. I went there a couple times before with Nikki Shuffleman.
Yeah.
Before I really knew you or whatever.
Nikki's a good
is
girl.
that still
I
at
haven't
the
been
last
there,
stop in the
At
basement?
all. I had
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea
Yeah.
that it was there.
It's cool.
Yeah. Until I started seeing you guys on Facebook more, and I was like, "What's this all about?"
Yeah.
So
Well, the logo right away, I was like, man, I gotta go check that out. Because just the logo itself,
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
logo.
that's dope. And calling
how'd
it
you
Post Pilgrim
come
is
to that?
genius.
The logo.
It was a cat named John Slapmyers who came up with the design. I asked him for something. I needed something professionally strong. I needed something that resonated. Kind of fuck you.
That's my very first
Yeah.
impression of that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. We're still getting it done. And the best part about it, I think, and I owe Janine and Brian Deitz a whole lot of gratitude for even being allowed to have such a beautiful platform to be a Native woman and just be this kind of voice that Native people need. Native people are thirsty for change. Native people are looking to the future with bright eyes, as we should be. There's nothing but space and opportunity, and that's what Post Pilgrim represents, and that is our legacy there.
What inspired you to create? Because I know being an artist is one thing, but then what inspired you to build the platform of Post Pilgrim to have that for everybody to enjoy?
Different artists.
I was poor.
Hell yeah, right?
No, man, I mean, for real, I was poor. My husband and we had 5 children, little guys too, and I began painting just to not be a mom, not be a wife, just be me. And between the hours of 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., it was safe. It was safe to be me, and that's how it began. And then I realized, I can do this. I got fit. It's all right there. I just need to figure out how to make it all work.
Yeah.
And I can do this. And that's when I started searching around for galleries, and then the galleries led to shows, and the shows led to real collectors, and then real collectors led to this wonderful thing called confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like real ability and being able to trust in yourself to make huge decisions and asking that responsibility of other people in return. Like, I guarantee you I can do this for you if you can do this for me. And there is nothing more scary and more sacred than having somebody's trust.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
heavy.
yeah.
That's heavy, bro.
Yeah. For
And I
sure.
got a show in Colorado, at Fort Collins, Colorado right now, and it's called The Weight of the Gift. Because not just your gift artistically, because you
Yeah.
gotta nurture it, you gotta love it, you gotta grow it,
Yeah.
But the weight of a gift of somebody believing in you, that is heavy. That is
Wow,
heavy.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is a lot of responsibility. And it's not just on you, it's you owe so much to so many people. And we as Native people understand that it's not about, yeah man, I did this all by myself. We stand on the shoulders of great all the time. And then we gotta be strong enough to withhold the weight of young coming up to do the same. And I get it, I think a lot of people have forgotten that importance of who we are as Native people, to look at our culture, to burn, regrow, rebuild, all in as one unit. I mean, we get deterred by this damn opioid and shit, we forgot to focus on who we are, and the problem is also the solution. It's us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up because that's one thing I did want to talk about today was how there's 3 South Dakota tribes filed a lawsuit with there's 24 different pharmaceutical distributors and manufacturers recently, and it's Flandreau, Sisseton, and Rosebud that are filing, basically just stating that they are concealing and minimizing risks in like tribal communities, to sort of get the drugs out there and
Right.
what do you guys feel like as far as that goes or
Yeah,
whatever?
because I know there's like another tribe who's the process is a little bit more ahead, and I believe it's Oklahoma. I'm forgetting like which tribe exactly, but I think with them it hasn't gone so well in their favor. So I don't know how it will go for the tribes in South Dakota. Hopefully they have a better turnout, but I think what it is that they don't have enough. I guess they're putting more back on the person. And
Yeah.
So I don't really know what's going to happen, if anything, from it. But I know they have, good hopes that if they were to win these cases, that it would go back into the programming of, people in recovery or
Right.
going through that addiction right now. So that would be really cool to see those programs get up, especially the need for it is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think like it should be more like personal responsibility, like, or should the?
I think obviously now with like people being more aware of opioid addiction, like it doesn't take much to get addicted.
Yeah.
And so I think the push from like the people who are doing these prescriptions, they should really be putting that out there, like, hey, giving them alternate options, or like just really sitting them down and talking through like the possible effects of that drug.
Yeah.
And I think obviously with these tribes suing, that hopefully they're doing that and like going to be making those changes. But
Well, if that's what the lawsuit's for, like that they're concealing the dangers, to the public of how major these things are. I mean, then that's the perfect thing to sue for, because honestly, there ain't no bigger drug pusher than the man. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, of course they're gonna lie to you. Of course they're gonna say this stuff is natural. This is normal stuff. You're gonna be able to take it regularly. You're gonna be just fine. That ain't the way it fucking works, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to addiction, especially to prescription pills, when the people that are supposedly smarter than you tell you that it's okay, you just get addicted. You wake up one fucking morning and you're like, I need like 3 of these instead of the one they told me to take. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it is a personal responsibility to keep yourself in check. But I can kind of see how easy it is to have that thrown out of whack.
Yeah, it's easy to have it get away from you too, because I mean, they are strong. Like I haven't taken any in a long ass time. I think the last time I did, I had like a bunch of teeth pulled out or whatever, and fucking. I remember just being at work. This is like 10, 12 years ago, but just like swimming at work. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. Like
I just finished watching season 2 of Marin. I don't know if anybody ever watches that, but the whole premise of that was he had a teeth problem and got a prescription, and he was like sober from drugs and alcohol for like 30 years. And he took the prescription, and before that bottle was gone, he was like back on the wagon hard. You know what I mean? Lost his podcast, his life, and everything like that, and had to start over from ground zero. And that's like. That guy, Marin, it's a lot based on what his real life is, but even in the thing, he's like a successful person, smart, totally capable of keeping himself in check, and it still flew out of whack. You know what I mean?
And that goes to show that addiction, it don't have a face. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. It'll just creep up on you.
Yeah,
like, I really try to stay away from that kind of stuff because, I mean, like with the way that I used to drink and stuff, I just know that I have a major addictive personality. You know what I mean?
And like for me, I don't think I've ever taken any. I know my tooth was bothering me like a couple years ago, and then the dentist was just like, here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you didn't even ask me if I wanted it.
Yeah, it's
like,
super easy.
I didn't even know what the hell it was, until I talked to my dad. I was like, my doctor gave me this.
But you got to keep in mind that with pharmaceutical companies like that, they're just like cigarette companies. They know the more that you're hooked, the more you're coming back. You know what I mean? And since America is based on
money,
pay to get better, then how what are they gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, if they said all of a sudden we're gonna make changes in our structure, they're basically like surrendering billions of dollars, and then nobody gonna give up that kind of money to make the world a better place. At least not them. Maybe,
No, not on that level.
Not those devils.
It's like at a certain point, how much money do you need? I don't know. It's just like
apparently all of it. I mean, shit. I need like $20, right? I'd be cool right now. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck. Yeah, I know. Like one of my homegirls was telling me the other day that like she fucking fucked up her back, and they prescribed her a bunch of opioids or whatever, and she sold them $3 a pill. It's like, damn, all right.
And that is not helping
Yeah,
anything
yeah, yeah.
either, you know what I mean? Like, just because you ain't doing them because you know how addictive it is doesn't mean you should go and give this shit to somebody
But
else.
there's a fucking, it's just like, there's that underground market where people are just fucking, you know, they need that.
And that's the sad part is that there's always going to be those people.
Yeah.
And
Who just don't care.
Jesse here just said, and it is pure and simply just this, it is supply and demand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They created the supply and the demand became more than that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's always the way it is. They're never equal. It's always a stepping thing. It's like bicycle pedals.
Yeah.
One's always over the other. You know, so it's who knows how to fix it. But I believe, especially with tribes, because there's such a concentrated community,
really
is
unique.
that to sue. I don't know what you're gonna get out of a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What's the end goal? Like,
But
what
the
do they hope to
awareness
gain?
it's in itself might be worth. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that push. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure they're making changes in the way their doctors do things. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what do you get out of it? Like, Flandreau just built a brand new, gigantic, super IHS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, they could have kept their mouth shut and had opiates going in and out of that motherfucker like all day long because that's so big, you know, and everybody's going to have back problems now, you know,
I
but...
was gonna say, isn't that an oxymoron? Like super IHS.
Super
Like, I don't know.
IHS. I don't know, you should see it. It looks like Walmart. It's huge. It's really big. It looks like a hospital.
There's only one doctor in there.
The one receptionist who's never at the phone.
Yeah.
2 people work there.
Yeah.
You
I'm gonna
only
go
catch
get a
them
tour.
from like 10 to 11.
Yeah. They're always on lunch
Yeah, for real though.
or break.
Yeah.
Fuck.
In regard to this conversation, I believe that the real culprit is the American government again failing to do their responsibility, which is take care of the people first. And Native Indigenous people are by far the most grotesquely overlooked, most grotesquely ignored, abandoned, and abused people in the United States of America.
For sure.
And it's absolutely disgusting what this presidency has brought out in everyday people. But you know what? It's not like he's remolding the wheel, he's holding up a mirror.
Exactly.
And in regard to health care, IHS, the American government, is held up to the responsibility to provide each American Indian with free health care. The health care budget for a normal person is about $8,000. The IHS system that we have set forth here in South Dakota is under $2,500 per person. You have people in Eagle Butte that are waiting 2 hours for an ambulance. You have people in Mission, South Dakota waiting 4 hours to get an emergency C-section. Women and children and men are dying of horrendous disease that can be controlled with a simple medication, insulin.
Right.
And the American government again is turning their eye, a blind eye, to the obligations that they have set forth, and again are completely blatantly ignoring for no other reason than I think shame and guilt of the reality of what it is that they are really comprehending, and that is an American people, the American Indian, trying desperately to rebuild who we are without any support that we have been offered or promised at that, which leaves us holding the entire bag.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
And there's not enough economy going on these places that where we have been set forth. They're given land, and I tell you one thing, for all you non-natives out there, stop asking me where my check comes from, because I don't get one, man. All right.
Yeah.
You need to start educating yourselves about Native people as contemporary people, and stop treating us like unicorns. We are not here to sprinkle dust and make you special, man. We are real people. We are real people. And I think the moment that the American public, non-native, decides to start educating themselves on the atrocities that really happened in this country to native people, the genocide, the disease, the systematic annihilation of these people, of us, man.
Right.
Once you get a basic general education about what really happened, then you can start appreciating your responsibility as a human being, not for what your ancestors did, but for what you can do today.
Amen.
Absolutely, yeah.
And everybody online is agreeing with you too in a major way. You know, I'm gonna scroll back a little bit. Maybe you know this person, Holona.
Yeah, she just texted me. Was like, Jennifer White is amazing.
Yeah.
I love you, babe. I love you, babe. You know this.
She made a pretty interesting point a few posts back. It says, "Do you know where most drugs get tested? On reservations in IHS hospitals.
Oh,
they
man.
need a body of people to test on, and then the rest of poor America." Which is true. You know what I mean? Like, if we're getting free health care, we're not getting top flight health care. We're getting, you know what I mean? We're getting like the students who.
Well, yeah, it's like the doctors go to like IHS to like to serve some time so they get like their student loans paid off.
Just like this says, it says IHS hospitals employ students that need to get their hours in to actually be able to practice in large upscale hospitals. That's why they don't stay most of the time, and they also get all or most of their school loan paid off for attending IHS.
Yeah.
That's also same with the public school system, by the way.
It's like if we
That's a
could
revolving
keep
door.
them, maybe it would be better. But they get their hours and then they run off. You know what I mean? And then they provide to the
Yeah,
rest.
like in Winnebago, I haven't been to like much IHS hospitals, I guess, because I've lived in Sioux Falls most of my life. But Winnebago, theirs is ran by like the people in uniforms. Damn it, I forget what they're called.
Doctors.
No.
I mean, Shar, just tell me what for.
No. Obviously they got that educational piece, but I don't know. They come from that program. I'm blanking on the name of it. They're like public health service workers.
Oh, okay.
And so most of their workers there are from that program.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are doctors and they are like pharmacists and stuff like that, but they come from a specific program.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of those people like they kind of look like military uniforms almost, but they serve in public health.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any other tribal IHS are like that, but that one.
Where's that at?
Winnebago.
Oh, okay.
And they have a pretty nice facility.
Like home visits or like wellness checks, like people that are going to the homes to check on people, or is it just?
No, they work in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's another facet of American Indian health, the American Indian health system that is totally grotesquely wrong. So, say you live in Pierce, South Dakota, and you go to the doctor at IHS. You have to come up with a brand new set of medical files for yourself. They do all the same testing, they do all the same this, but there is no interlocking system between IHS systems. So if you lived in Pierre, you couldn't have your records shipped or shared with a doctor that lives in Flanders with the same IHS system. And that is, again, another way of the man keeping us down on purpose. There is absolutely no reason, if they can spend $30,000 to keep President Trump safe on an overnight trip for a golfing trip, that he cannot set up a computer system. That as American people cannot set up a computer system that interlocks all of these different IHS systems so that your mother can be safe and sound in Pierre, and when something goes wrong, that when she's shipped here to Sioux Falls, her records cannot be flown with her. That is absurd.
That is.
I didn't even know that. That is
absurd.
Crazy.
No,
That's
it's wrong, man. It's wrong.
That's like common sense.
Yep.
I mean, like Stanford, they have
you would
they
think
have
that.
the My Chart or whatever. So it don't matter what Stanford you go to, all your records are like
Right.
in there.
The Stanford
So
My Chart.
I mean, that's what they would need. Would be something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I went to the dentist in Winnebago because I didn't want to spend like $500.
I hear you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I hear
I'm
you.
like, no, I'll drive my
That's
happy
what
ass
it's. That's what it's. That's a whole.
But I was
issue right
asking the dentist here in Sioux Falls if they could like fax my X-rays or whatever to them, and they like don't do that.
So like, no.
Yeah, and
Come get 'em.
and like the Winnebago wasn't really open to that too. They're like, oh no, our dentist, they like to take the pictures, and which I kind of get, but at the same time it's like, Doesn't it save you a little bit of time?
It saves a little
or-
time and money
you know what I
and,
mean?
and
Yeah.
To,
mechanical
like,
operations
do the
and stuff like that
process
too.
all over.
How many times do you want your mouth x-rayed anyway? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ange says, and I don't know what point was made, but she says one of the reasons why I don't use IHS unless absolutely needed, which I think is crazy because she has offered IHS, she's offered free healthcare, and will deny it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I haven't been to IHS in a couple of years, but I've been to the clinic at least 5 times in the past year.
Yeah.
And it's just like the headache involved, like the
Spending all fucking day there.
Yeah,
all day.
I think
Yeah.
that's like
you
the
feel like
biggest
nothing's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, best case scenario at an IHS is they throw you some pain pills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like the best case scenario. Otherwise, you ain't fixed.
Well, and to come kind of full circle, good point. It's like the system that is set up is made to fail. It's made to fail us. There again is it's a systematic breakdown of who we are as a people to keep us controlled. And they do it to black people in the ghettos. They do it to Hispanics in the South. They do it everywhere. And I'm telling you now, it's because there's nothing more profitable than poor people that absolutely need you. And,
Oh yeah.
And I think it's
They'll give you
I think
everything
it's
because
disgusting.
they don't have much of anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if all I got is $5 because I'm poor, and you're saying you're gonna make me better for that $5, and I guess that's what I gotta do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It ain't like, oh, let me go into my backup
Yeah.
funds quick or nothing like that. If we had that, we'd be taken care of a little bit better. You know what I mean? We need IHS.
The one good thing about IHS is they do give out free condoms, or at least they do in Roseburg.
And absolutely, free condoms at IHS is like probably one of the best things
Yeah.
that they do.
Yeah, I remember going there and getting some. I don't know. I think I still have them. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
Like,
The lifestyles, yeah.
Yeah.
The red label
unused,
lifestyles.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Unused.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who uses condoms nowadays? I mean,
Since I had my first baby, me.
No. In regard to IHS, I have family that personally uses the whole thing. I have several relatives that work for the system itself. It works when you get good people that want to work it, but overall, the system is not set up
Right.
Mhm.
And
correctly.
And that kind of goes back to like more people from the community need to get their education.
Amen.
exactly. Like
Move it back
your friend,
around.
Yep.
your friend Helona did say a little farther back that, you know, some IHSs get some amazing doctors.
Yes.
Sometimes that do want to help the community and
It's
the
just
people
not
that they
enough,
work with,
though,
but
you
they'll
know,
either
for the
get pushed
need.
out. They'll get pushed out, or, you know, sometimes, you know, I mean, when the check comes a knocking, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, just to put it in a little bit of perspective there, when you go to a non-IHS hospital, you remember the bad doctors, not the good ones.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm just saying, like, your perspective needs to change. You can't be happy when you get something good. That should be the standard of what
Yeah.
we receive.
And that's what we expect, yeah. So
we need to,
really
we
look
need to
past
change
it.
our perceptions as a people. We need to change our standards as people. Our standards need to be normalized, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Chris Raleigh says, and this is interesting, but I don't know much about it, even though, and this is regarding veterans, but it says you guys should talk about IHS and the VA with Native veterans. I've got turned away from my local IHS because I was a veteran.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Because he had a VA to go to.
Oh,
Which
man,
My
that's
uncle,
hard.
my uncle Wes is also a Native veteran, and he always comes to the VA for all of his stuff. Now I'm not sure if he's getting turned down by the IHS or not,
Yeah.
but that's kind
My
of
dad,
fucked.
he was in the military, and so yeah, he goes to IHS and he goes to the VA here in Sioux Falls.
But he can go to
prefers,
both.
Yeah.
Oh well, that thank God.
So, cause he goes down to Winnebago too, so and that's where he sees the doctors and stuff. But there's always this cross weirdness where the doctors are here in Sioux Falls are saying one thing, and then the ones in Winnebago are saying something else, and
Yeah.
the ones here are like, why are they giving you this or that? They
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing that, and
Mhm.
so there's like no
Meeting of
communication
the
between the
minds.
two.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
meeting of the
For
minds.
sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as I know, they still can, because my dad's like, they were supposed to stop sending me this medication because he's getting it from the VA, but they're still sending him it. So as far as I know, with his situation, I've seen him go to both, so I don't know.
You know, when it comes, and like I said, I would
It
like to
probably
do
depends
more
on where you
research
go.
on what
Yeah.
Native veterans really have to go through. But when I think of like Native powerhouses to America, it's always Native veterans, like Wind Talkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we get the most attention because of Native American service. You know what I mean? Like that's when people start acknowledging
The
natives for what they
irony
do.
in that
You know,
is,
like,
Yeah.
is just killing me.
yeah.
Oh man, I could talk about that for hours, but I won't. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
But you
Yeah.
know,
It's like
without
McEwen.
doing any research, I don't know much on that. But
Yeah.
I bet you I could talk to my uncle for a good 5
Yeah.
hours on what he thinks about the VA.
And
Yeah.
I do know that there are vets that come here to Sioux Falls from all over this region, you know, Sioux City, wherever, Minnesota, that come here to Sioux Falls and will sit in that hospital all day, waiting to be treated.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that the people who have done the most for this country are still mistreated.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, is in the hands of the people we have trusted to take care of us, the American government.
Right. Well, yeah, it's almost like strikes against you. Like Native, you're strike one. You're a veteran, that's strike two. You know, you should have never been either one of those if you wanted our help. That's terrible. Ange says, let me throw this out to you guys. I live on Seneca Reservation. I'm not Seneca, I am Sioux from South Dakota. And this clinic here on this reservation requires you to have your own insurance and have denied my kids there.
Wow.
Now her perception is she thought that IHS has to accept all natives no matter what.
It's true.
That is
Yeah.
true.
That's
yeah,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't been a tribal member until this year, until I turned 28. You know what I mean? And I'm from Eagle Butte. I was adopted, lived in Flanders my whole life. They've always seen me.
Yep.
So, Ange, I guess we don't have maybe like an answer to why they didn't
Oh.
see your kids, but
Babe, another issue to that to really think about though is, as Native, this drives me bonkers. Native people are always talking about how you're not technically Native American until you've been recognized by the federal government. I tell you what, man, there are dogs and cats with paperwork that have more respect than human beings because of a piece of paper promoted and done by the American government. You are better than that. We as Native people need to recognize each other before we can expect to be recognized seriously by other people. That piece of paper is important, I understand, but let's not hold ourselves to the same hypocrisy as a dog or a cat. Are we not worth the same as human beings with or without the paper? That's just food for thought.
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
think
Wow,
it's
yeah.
I think it's unfortunate that your kids weren't seen, but there again, empower yourself. Do your research. You go in there with a downloaded piece of paper citing every single right that your children have. You do that.
especially for the children.
You do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the power back. Don't let anybody tell you your business.
Or does Flanders see outside people outside?
I
your
believe
I
so.
think they do.
I believe
My
so.
sister goes
So there's
there.
like I've always heard like mixed, like no, and then I've heard yeah.
I
but
think the
don't
last
know.
time that we had this conversation,
Yeah.
it was heavily towards no, they do not.
Yeah, and
But-
then my
I don't know.
coworker
I'm pretty
Googled
sure they
it and
do.
she went on a thing, and I think it says yeah they do.
I
but
think they do. I mean, I don't know if there's a way
Yeah.
that they can be like, no, get out of here. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's underhanded, but
Well, there again, you get into the inner workings of intertribal politics. Then
Well,
that
and
in
that's the
itself
thing
is a
too,
very
though.
sticky
It's like,
subject.
so what about people who live in an urban area like we do?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I'm surprised there is urban Indian health
Yeah,
here
there is.
in Kent, right?
yeah.
yeah. But
It's
last
not
time we talked
free.
about all they really do, it's not free, and then all they really handle is like psychological stuff. Like they don't do any
Care.
healthcare stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like if you go to Urban Indian Healthcare here
There's-
with a broken ankle, they'll be
refer
like,
you
"Oh,
out.
your ankle's broke. Why don't you go check out this place over here, and we'll send you a recommendation like you came and seen
Yeah.
us."
But that
They'll make your
recommendation, though, I
prescription
think
cheaper.
they can
Yeah.
they'll as long as you get that recommendation, like they
should
will
be-
pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
like if you pay
Should be
them the
nice.
$30, your prescription is almost free because you gave them $30 and don't have to give the Walmart pharmacy $80 for your prescription
Yeah.
instead. Which is a small boost, but you know, like we've talked before, how flawed the urban
Well, I've
health
dealt
system
with
is.
the IHS payment system before too, and it takes them fucking forever to pay for some shit. Like, if you get that recommendation to go somewhere else, and then, like, you know, say Sanford fucking bills you whatever it was, and you have to bring the fucking,
turnaround time is
you know,
not good.
all that. Yeah, it takes so fucking long for it to get paid.
There's some great discussion amongst the listeners going on. This is a really engaging episode already so far.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
maybe that's
Figured
why
it
like the opioid epidemic is so just explosive, because who has time to wait to actually get better when you can put a Band-Aid on it
Oh,
and
absolutely.
everybody's happy?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know, man.
And then another thing with that too is like,
it's crazy.
how long do you think people realize that it's a problem with that? Because it's a prescription, you know?
Yep.
Family members
Yep.
probably oversee it, friends
Oh, yeah.
probably oversee it until it's like, you know, they're
Yeah.
missing work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going on this.
Michelle Red Earth, who is essentially like my mother, she's listening right now, and we were talking about having a paper to prove that you're tribal.
Yeah.
She made a good point that the government designed Native American blood quantums the same way that they did for quarter horses. You know what I mean?
See, Miss Red Earth, that gave me goosebumps. That breaks my heart. And that we as Native people have succumbed to that opinion of ourselves is absolutely heartbreaking. And thank you for bringing that to. That's beautiful, man.
Well, it is, because it was like, does
It's
that piece of
upsetting,
paper
but
make you know better than an animal? And that piece of
Right?
paper is based on how they degrade animal.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? In
isn't
the first
isn't
place.
up to the tribe to set those like blood quantums?
Oh,
or
no,
who-
I don't
'cause
know.
every
I don't know
tribe's
the
different.
I don't know the
Yeah.
inner workings
So
of that.
like I wonder like if that will ever change, or can they,
I don't
if you
know.
can just prove your lineage, and could that make you enrolled? I don't know if what tribes are like that. I don't know.
I
Most of the time it's like, oh no, you gotta prove
I
it,
thought
like,
it was
who's
called
your dad?
Urban Indian.
It's like, we need to get some reservation politics.
I
know, like,
Listeners.
let's talk about like soup kitchens and shit. I can't do this.
See, that's for our listeners, though.
Exactly. Come on, give us some feedback.
We're sitting here on Google.
I know, like, hold on.
Halana says Sioux Falls Urban Indian charges the $35 to refer you, but they don't treat you. But in Minneapolis, they treat non-serious issues.
Good.
That's nice.
So
Well,
that's-
Minneapolis has a good native population.
That's only 4
Yes,
hours
they do.
away,
They
guys.
do.
Remember that.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
time I break my leg, I'm driving
Right?
to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And yes, Shar, it is. The tribe can revise the quantum.
Yeah.
So
that's
they do
hopeful.
have something in there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of a slippery slope.
But you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
exactly.
when it comes to like
yeah.
when it comes to like tribal politics or tribal control, I mean they only have so much power as allowed.
And I have like
You know
no
what I
idea,
mean,
like
so-
tribal
Yeah.
policy, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, I know when my tribe got like, they got like 75 million or something like that. This was like about 5 years ago. And so they were giving every tribal member like 1,500 of that summer, and then 1,500 for Christmas. So the enrollment number like shot up like crazy in between that time frame.
You betcha. I bet
Yeah.
there were people who were like, is
Oh.
that my kid?
Let me rethink that.
Right on the-
I know that's my son.
Right on the
there.
dot with that. It says now that like this person says that tribes have different guidelines to meet
Yeah.
for blood degrees, but Flange was now charging you for a DNA test in order to figure it before your enrollment. They're charging you for that.
What?
So
How much is a DNA test?
well, I don't
Look, you
know.
can get one from Walgreens.
Yeah, I mean, they
Yeah,
can't do that
right.
much.
It's like 50 or something.
Is it?
But I don't know how.
Like 400, 500 is what Tyler
to
said.
go through a lab, I bet.
Yeah.
They
That's
charge
good
way
enough
more.
for the tribe to accept your. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, if you're gonna get benefits from our tribe, we better put that thing through a super squeegee. You know what I mean? Like, super find out what your heritage
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
Ah.
Yeah.
tread lightly. Tread lightly.
$350. So there's it's a few hundred bucks either way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Which
Mm.
that's pretty rough. You know what I mean? Like, especially if your results came back like negative, like, no, you're not native enough. Thanks for
Yeah.
trying.
Thanks for trying.
Thanks for trying. At an IHS where that would be considered a healthcare issue, I think I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, just draw a little blood, right? Put it through a
Yeah.
centrifuge. centrifuge or whatever.
Something.
I think with the opioid epidemic, I think that there's a lot of misplaced anger. The loved ones of these addicted people, I think there's a lot of misplaced anger. I know moms are angry at the companies. I know that, sons and daughters are mad at the companies. Ultimately, the responsibility is not up to the American government or our tribes to hold people accountable. I think what this action lawsuit is asking of the pharmaceutical companies to not treat people like they're idiots.
Right.
It needs to be your responsibility to let everybody know that this stuff can kill you.
Well, right.
This can kill you, kid.
Absolutely.
I've seen that huge. Sorry to cut you.
Oh.
I've seen this huge. Lately you see more commercials and things like that. So I seen an ad or whatever. It was a mom and she said her son got prescribed the opioid. 5 days later, he was addicted.
Mm.
He ended up. I'm not quite sure.
Dying
how he passed
3
away.
years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it, man.
So I was like, that didn't really hit me because I haven't had anyone super close to me be affected, not that I know of. And so when I was sitting there thinking, I was like, holy crap, that's insane. How fast it takes over your life.
Oh, it's extremely fast,
just like any drug, I
my
suppose.
Uncle Wes had a kidney stone. And a month later, he was like, "Well, I can't ever leave the couch and I need my pills." You know what I mean? It was just super quick. You know what I mean? And that lasted for a long time. He's a lot better now. You know what I mean? He pulled it together. But
I think now that the awareness is coming out, maybe families will, keep an eye out.
And don't be ashamed of drug addiction, everybody.
Well, yeah.
It's like mental health. Don't be ashamed that you have issues.
Yeah, if you need help.
These things need to be discussed. We need to have open communication.
And I think this is something we talked about back when we had on our meth episode.
Yeah.
People having that shame, and so they feel like they can't openly talk about these things because, most Native people I know and non-Native people here in Sioux Falls, almost everyone I know knows somebody who has went down that path.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's you just gotta suck it up and just own it and that's my brother, that's my cousin, and I love them and I'm gonna be there with them on that path to support them or whatever.
There's nothing stronger than saying I have this, because people hoard their, I'm not telling anybody.
There's shame,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
There's
so
shame.
if they came out and said, holy shit, I'm super addicted and I need help, that's when people actually start offering to help.
Yeah.
What are we going to start doing when we don't know that there's a problem that needs to be addressed? You know what I mean? What if family members, that guy's just being lazy, you don't want to work, you know what I mean? I don't think it's an addiction issue or anything, but the people don't want to help until they're asked for help. You know what I mean? It's not, we don't really live in a huge volunteer society. People don't want to help until they're asked to help. Personally, and it goes back to government responsibility, I grew up with hella family members just super addicted to pills. Abusing medication, slamming it in their fucking veins, snorting shit all the fucking time. I grew up watching that shit like it was cartoons. But the difference is about government responsibility is that they should tell people that are ignorant about the drug usage that this stuff is potentially extremely dangerous. Now knowing that, and a lot of people do anyway, you're an adult, you're going to know that. If you decide to go home and slam that shit into your fucking arm, that's on you. That's on you.
Same with buying a gun.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the government lying to you. You're the one piling that shit into your fucking, in between your damn toes. That's on you, and that's the help that you need. You can't blame the government. A lawsuit like this shouldn't hold the government responsible for people that on that level of addiction. You know what I mean? Because it starts with I need one. Oh, I'm gonna take 3 because I hurt extra bad today, and then it goes into I better just shoot this into my dick vein because I hurt so much. You know what I mean? And at that point, you're like, this is on me now. You know?
I missed something.
That's a callback.
That's exactly how bad it is. It goes from 1 pill to 3 pills to
right in the dick vein.
You have to be native now to get that, by the way. That's rugged.
There is a...
I'm trying to swallow my water.
Dang.
Especially with...
In there, Holmes.
Yeah, right? especially with the dependency that I believe Native Americans have developed according to the government.
Amen.
Because we kind of have, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the government has constantly told us, do what the fuck we tell you or there's consequences. So we created the dependency of waiting to know what to do. What are we going to do next? You tell
Well,
us.
they were a source of our food. They were a source of our medicine. They were a source of our land. They were a source of our clothing. They literally took away the ideal or who we were as men and women. They took away and eliminated our complete and total society, and then they looked at us like, what are you going to do to fix it?
Right. Well, you know, and shit, they even try to take that away now, like with the water resources, like dealing with DAPL and stuff like that. They say,
Yeah.
well, you know, we could give you guys this water, but financially that's not helping us out any, so, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
whatever.
You don't know what's best for you.
Well,
Yeah,
Let
you
me
don't.
tell you.
And so
Yeah,
when we wait
yeah,
on that, when we wait to know, you know what I mean, I think maybe the government could, I don't know how I want to say, the big pharma is not the government, even though we all know it really is. But they should take the responsibility as your fucking parents for the past 400 years.
Mhm.
We should tell you these things are extremely fucking addictive.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But they're abusive parents. You know what I mean? They don't want what's best for the what they've created out of us as children, essentially.
Yeah.
Systematic children. They don't want what's best for us, so go ahead and take it. The problem is like I don't know what they're profiting on in the first place because we get free IHS.
Yeah.
Or we pick up free opioids for a much cheaper discount than regular people would have to. So I don't know what the major benefit is yet.
I don't know.
You
I'm
know what I
interested.
mean?
We should actually have Superman joining us here in a few minutes. Here.
Superman.
I know. Like this is what he's from Crow Agency, Montana. I wonder if they deal with the same like opioid issues up.
Oh, absolutely.
Up there.
Montana has the highest suicide rate in the entire nation.
Really?
Absolutely.
I've only
There's
been to Montana
isolation.
once, and I kind of wanted to kill myself while I was there too.
Well,
so, like,
there's a lot of isolation in Montana.
That's like
sporadic.
a summer vacay is like all I need.
oh yeah, she's from Montana too. I forgot about
I
that.
love Montana. Blackfeet
Yeah.
Nation, man. Mm.
I'm Fort Peck, but yeah.
I-
My friend Jerry's
yeah.
from Jerry. Damn, give me a shout out. She's from Blackfeet.
Yeah, I love
There's
them.
so many good points
Good stuff.
that get made when it comes to Native Americans. You know what I mean? Like Michelle just said, it started with committees because there was no diabetes or heart problems or anything like that for Native Americans until it was pushed onto us, till it was pumped onto us, till we started consuming what they told us to consume.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Which now Native Americans have the biggest diabetic problem. I mean,
Yeah.
per capita. I mean, there's not very many of us, but per capita, we have
Well,
one
if
of the
you look
biggest
at
diabetic
us on
epidemics
every
ever.
level, we have the highest rates of
Yeah.
everything.
It's because there's so
Infant
few.
mortality.
Well, yeah, there's like 10 of us and
Yeah.
7 of us kill ourselves. And per capita, you know, we have the highest suicide rate, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and then you look at something as simple as our cuisine. What are Native people known for? Fry bread. That wasn't part of our natural
Yeah, when the
diet.
hell was
hey,
we
hey,
making
hey, leave it. Hold on.
That's
Hold on.
Have you guys seen that on Facebook?
Don't
It's
go
like-
there. That's not.
Too far, J1. Too far.
Treading on sacred territory.
Have you guys seen the thing on Facebook where it's like, well, the portion, you know, it's all about portion
Portion.
control.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, this fry bread is like 780.
Yeah.
The little one's like 380.
That little one's a donut.
Yeah,
Roll that in some sugar.
What's gonna
That'll
fit
be
on
good.
that?
That's funny. Yeah.
No, but I've seen a lot of like, you know, push for traditional foods, and that's like huge now.
It
so
is.
That's really cool.
It should
I know
be.
down in Denver they got that restaurant. I wasn't able to go to it when I was there, but the chef is native and he makes.
Isn't there like a native restaurant in Rapid City too? Or
Not that I know of.
I think there was,
Anyone in
there
Rapid
used to be, or I'm just making it up. I don't know. Like I was pretty sure there was a fucking native restaurant when I was.
Like Indian food.
Yeah, maybe. No.
Like, yeah, no, we
They're
have
like
those in
Donner
Brookings.
Feather, man. What are we doing here?
Pretty sure like last time I was up there, they were like, "Oh, make sure you go eat at some fucking restaurant up
There's
there."
like Mount Everest,
It's-
and that's India.
It's like a
But-
super bad, not bad idea for like a food truck for like native foods.
Dude,
Oh
I've been
my
saying
gosh,
that for
my-
fucking years now.
My husband, Mike, he's been like on this kick forever. His mom has like seriously, her fry bread is really good. I know a lot of people say that, but had a lot of friends cooking.
Every
and I'm like,
Indian
That's
says
it.
that.
I know. Everyone's like,
Fry bread's fry bread. That's his new nickname is Fry bread. Nightshill's been cooking fry bread for like 3 months now, and he's got the best fry
Longer
bread.
than that, like what?
Yeah.
I feel like
Fry
it's
bread.
been longer.
Fry bread
Yeah,
over here.
we made that fry bread episode in like May or some shit like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
Not even a year.
it's been a good
It's
7
coming
months.
up on
You
the
doing
year.
all right?
Yeah.
It's good. Well, think about it. Like at powwows, it's all food trucks that make Indian
Yeah,
tacos. Why
yeah.
can't you see one? Or how easy it would be to have just like a big.
And it's always a
Crock pot
non-native
full of-
behind there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
charging like
what?
$20.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
hard would it be to have just like a big crock pot full of wajapi and drive around and
Yeah,
sell
man.
it?
Yeah.
I might do that this weekend. Fuck.
Hey,
It's out of my
we
truck.
should
Park
go
outside
in on a
Wiley's.
food truck.
Yeah, we should.
Try it out for like summer.
Yeah.
I wonder how much conversation we'd get with drunks, though. That'd probably be too
Yeah.
much. Like, just get the
Way
fry
too
bread and
many.
go.
All the neighbors would come out and be arguing
Just start
with you
giving
on
them
your
free.
fry
Just
bread.
get the
Like,
fucking fry bread. Get out of here.
fucking my aunt's fucking fry bread's better than this.
Just while they stand there and eat it, like.
No, that would be a really cool idea. I know a lot of people have had the idea, but let's see. who
I'm
does it
surprised. I'm so surprised that isn't a thing here in Sioux Falls.
I guess it's
I
like,
feel
would you
it
go back
be-
to like how much
easy
work
money.
you
It
like
should,
put
yeah.
into
Yeah.
whatever you want to do? It's like
Yeah.
people have this idea to do a food truck, but no one's doing the work to like get it together.
Well, you know, having ideas is free.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
I have 50 million
It would
ideas
be
a day.
cool.
In regard to work ethic as well, though, I mean, there's I don't know what I don't know how it is in your family or not, but it seems like in my family, like you gotta work hard, but you can't be too proud. You gotta get it done, but you can't celebrate what you've done.
You know, being humble's important.
I know, right? But I ask you this, like, when are we as Native people able to transition that, like, humble into a sense of accomplishment?
Right.
Well, you need to start rapping.
Do you know what I
Should
mean?
Oh,
Do you know
yeah,
what
just
I
start
mean?
rapping.
Yeah. We talk about all the cool shit we do all the time.
Just lay a verse on one of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, that's really important. I think that there needs to be a sense
A balance.
of yes, you know, and like being a mommy, owning a business, you know, all of
I
this.
think
It's
this is
important.
Superman calling us.
Uh-oh.
It's important to be able to celebrate
Hello?
what you've done.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Soups? Where you at today?
I'm at home, believe it or not.
Oh, all right. Every time I look at your snap, this motherfucker's like on a plane somewhere else. I'm like, God damn, all right. So, yeah, thanks for joining us today, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you bet. It's an honor. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. Hey, we were one of the reasons we wanted you on here is we're talking about or we every episode we talk about Native hip hop definitive listening, and this week we wanted to feature your album Crow Hop. We'll get into that a little bit more later, but we wanted to. We've been talking about like the opioid epidemic here in South Dakota. We've had 3 tribes sue the big pharmaceutical companies regarding opioid addiction, basically on the reservations. Is
Yeah,
that
I
something
heard
you
about
guys
that.
have to
That's
deal with
dope.
up there? No. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Is
What
that?
was that? I missed it. We got cut off.
Oh, is that something? Do you in Montana, Crow Agency? Is that something you guys deal with a lot up there? Is opioid addiction, and what's it like up there?
Yeah, definitely opioids and meth. You know, it's like traveling around different reservations. You pretty much see this same pattern. You know that what's happening. You know to our people, or how they're splitting that to our people, I should say.
Yeah, it's tragic. What do you think it is? I don't know why I'm asking you all these questions, but it's like, what do you think it is about Native people that make us so easy to, succumb to addiction like that? Especially like so similarly like different reservations, but it's like the same issues that all across the nation.
Yeah, definitely. I think it has to do with they say historical trauma. Like from the generations, like dropping the bomb, and it has like these shock waves, that kind of go out. So our ancestors are the first ones to feel that initial blast, and devastate their whole their whole world, their whole lifestyle. And then as time went on, you know, kind of like spreads out and it gets easier, but at the same time, it's we still carry that. You know, we're still affected by that first initial bomb drop. You know, on our culture.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I had never heard about the bomb drop, but that's definitely a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's a good way to picture it.
Yeah.
Visualize it.
To switch things completely in the other direction for that, man. You're a very well-known hip hop artist. I mean, we've gone back, you know, a lot of time. Like back when I was first starting, you were one of the only other people around that was doing it, and now you're like winning MTV Video Music Awards and you
Top
know,
of the game.
yeah,
Right.
just living the dream basically, man. What's that transition been like from rocking, you know, bars in White River with us to, you know, being on, you know, the red carpet with Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas here?
Yeah, it's good. Like when I look back or if I look at my success today, I'm like, shoot, it better be that way. You know, like we worked hard, you know, all these years, like, you know, and, you know, everybody that started off with native hip hop, we all knew each other, you know, and just kind of kept grinding, and it's tough at the same time, and just moving forward and trying to stay dedicated. So when I look at it, I'm like, man, it's good, you know, like it's good to be where I'm at, you know, still doing what I love, and that's probably the biggest success is just like be able to provide for my family, you know,
Yeah.
providing for them and doing what I love. That's success right there, like bigger than any award or anything is just trying to be a good husband and a good father to my kids.
Sure.
Yeah, amen.
That's awesome, man. What can you tell us a little bit about, like, I'm just curious because, like, I was watching your snaps the day you were at MTV or whatever, or at the music awards, and just seeing, like, you like were by like Nicki Minaj and like Kendrick and all that. Like, what was that like? Did people like recognize you, or I guess what was that overall experience just like?
Yeah, it was dope. Like, I mean, it's like every artist's dream, of course, you know, to be on that kind of level, you know, in music, just as a music, you know, as an artist. And so to be able to, like, represent Native people was that much of a bonus and a blessing. So when Taboo said, hey, we're going to be able to walk the red carpet, you know, I was like, oh, my God, this is happening, you know, this is amazing. And so right away I was like, man, I'm going to do it right, you know, I'm going to wear my family's war bonnet. I'm going to wear my wife's, you know, my beaded cuffs and wear my moccasins and, you know, and take my people with me at the same time, you know, on that red carpet and all that. And just like native hip hop too, I was like thinking about you and thinking about all the people, you know, like who did this, who have been doing this, and to be at that level was like, it was on my mind, you know, so we see all those people, you know, see freaking, you know, DJ Khaled right there with his son Assad. I could reach out and touch the dude, you know. Kendrick Lamar on this side, you know, the real short guy. Like, man, I'm taller than this guy. There's like, you know, like Cardi B, you know, just right there, and like at that whole level was so dope, you know, just to be able to walk on that red carpet, you know, and we put the women first. Like we went out, we put the women in front of us, and they sang an honor song, you know, as they went forward. So we honored women, you know, before we did anything as artists, and we honored, you know, Standing Rock, because it was all about the youth. You know, they're the ones who started that movement. And so we went in, and before we even went to the red carpet, you know, we prayed. We got together and said, you know, this is not us. This is not us being all famous or whatever. You know, this is about that movement, about the youth who started that movement, and this is for all Native people, you know, who are standing up in that capacity, you know, for water. And so we went in with that heart and that kind of humbleness, and just it was dope. You know, like even amongst all those stars, like we did a bunch of interviews, you know, going from CNN to MTV to, like, you know, just down the line on the red carpet. And then in all of that chaos, man, Taboo just like turns to me from out of nowhere and he puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, you deserve this, you know. He's like, you've been working hard your whole life, man. You deserve this stuff, bro, you know, so take it all in. And I'm like, who does that? You know, like what kind of artist, like in the midst of all of that, like just turns to you and says, you deserve that, you know. So it kind of showed me his character, you know, as a human being, you know, in that moment. And it was just like, I was just blessed, man. It was dope.
Hey, my name is Jennifer White. I own Post Pilgrim Art Gallery here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I just want to ask you, like, if you had one message to give to young people today in regard to how to get where you are or aspire to who you are as a person and a representative of Native people and Native pride, like, what would you say to them in regard to get to where you are?
I would say believe, like the power of belief and the power of prayer. Our spirituality as Native people is our foundation. Without our spirituality and without our prayer life, that's our identity. Without that, who are we? So I would tell any young person, if you want to accomplish things in life, you have to give reverence to the Creator. You have to go, get your prayers up, and always, go. I would say, get in touch. Connect. You got to connect with the Creator of the universe, and believe. And you put those two things together right there. There's no stopping you. You can do anything on this earth.
How do you feel about promoting, or how do you create balance with, like, not being from a reservation where you don't necessarily understand, or that kind of reverence isn't innate in you? Like, you have to learn how to do that. How do you find that balance between Native culture being not from a non-native state of where you actually physically live? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like not connected with the community, but
yeah,
being native.
yeah,
Is
man,
what
like
you
that.
Okay, I would say, just, man, info is out there. Like you can go to your elders, you can find out where you come from, who you're related to, even if you're not, from the res or whatever. Just that blood that's flowing through you, is a powerful thing. And get your knowledge up, and also learn the values, of your own tribe, the values of your own people, and try to practice that in your everyday life and your everyday walk. I would say, that would be something to do. Even, I know there's a lot of people who reach out to me, in the inbox, and they're like, yeah, what do I do? I'm Apache, but I didn't grow up on the red. What do I do? And I always tell them that, like, go over there, go visit where you're from, man. Is, take it all in, learn and read books, like get your knowledge up and things like that. But realize that what's flowing through your veins, that blood is a powerful thing.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It is. You just know that you belong to something different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you're well known for, Superman, is performing in your regalia. But you didn't always do that. And I remember you telling me this story back in the day about how it was like an accident, how that all came about. Can you maybe tell our listeners a little bit about that? Because I think it's funny and interesting how all that came about.
Yeah, definitely. Like, always been a powwow person, like being a Psaloga from Crow, we have our culture, and then we're in the modern day culture. And so, like, going to powwows, dancing and stuff, that was just kind of normal, that's like normal life. And then we have hip-hop culture, which is a different culture. And early on, we kind of like, you don't really put those two together, in that kind of capacity, because, the elders will have something to say, or, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's not right. So that was early on. And so we never did that. I never put them together. I barely sampled, anything that way, or, even in the beats and stuff, but we talk about res stuff, that's about it. But later on, like, I was doing a presentation in MSU Bozeman, and they said, hey, can you come and dance, for Native American Heritage Day, and talk about the history of your dance and where it comes from, and give us an exhibition. I'm like, yeah, we can. And they said, don't you guys rap too? It was me and Sabotage, my nephew Scott. And they said, don't you boys rap too? I'm like, yeah, we do. They're like, can you rap? There's be a bunch of kids there, a bunch of schools. I'm like, yeah, we can. And so we go up there, we dance, He danced Northern Traditional, I danced Fancy, talk about the history of the dance, where it comes from, and all of that. And then we got done. Then we're going off stage, and we're going to go change, into our hip-hop clothes or whatever,
Cool guy.
I rap for those kids. And the lady was like, "Where you guys going?" We're like, "Oh, we're gonna go change, and then we'll come back and we'll rap." She goes, "No, there's no time. We need you guys to go on right now." And we're just like, "Oh man," just kind of put on the spot. And we were in our outfits, and then Scott, my nephew, just kind of looked at me. He's like, "Let's just do it. Let's just go up there like this." I was like, "All right, let's go." So we went up there in our outfits, we just turned on the beats and started rapping, and then everybody's looking at us like, "What the hell's going on here?" And just like, and people were jamming out though, they're like, "Oh, this is something different," but they were jamming because, we worked hard at the culture of hip hop as well, with our quality of lyrics that we were delivering. They could feel that at the same time after just seeing us dance. They're like, "Oh shoot, these guys, they're good. They're actually pretty good." And so we got done, and then they liked it, and we went off stage, and then I saw my grandpa. He was coming over, he was walking over, and I was like, "Oh man, my grandpa, he's like a historian of our tribe. He knows every protocol, man. He knows the ceremonies, the language, just everything. Just real respected in our tribe." And he was walking over, and I was like, "Oh man!" In my mind, I was like, "Man, he's gonna say something. He's gonna scold me or whatever." And then as he got closer, he took his hat off and he extended his hand, and he said, "Grandson," he said, "that was pretty damn powerful what you just did." He said, "I want to shake your hand." He said, "You got up there and you showed all these people, you embraced who you are as an Apsáalooke, as a native." He said, "You knew what you were talking about when you talked about the dance and its origin, and you showed them that you were proud to be native. And then you spoke the language of those youth, which was hip-hop, which was rap." And he said, "They listened to you because of it. And you had something positive to say. I heard you talking about being a father and a husband and being drug and alcohol free." He said, "That's powerful." He said, "You boys keep that up." He said, "Our young people, they're dying, they're committing suicide, they're on drugs and alcohol." He said, "Anything you do to reach them, with a good heart it's worth it." So after that, to hear it from our elders, we knew that it was a good thing. It was a powerful thing. So we had more confidence in putting the cultures together.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
That is
on.
incredible.
Right on.
What a
Super
wonderful story.
powerful.
There's something, he probably can't hear me, but
Turn.
you can't hear me when I sit right next to the thing, can you?
Oh, breaking up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you're on the right track when an elder like your grandfather approves.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like that right there is like that's like a major sign. Like as you tell that story, I'm like, well, that was your sign right there. That was the path for success, like laid right out in front of you. Having your elder approve your very
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
and that was your first time rapping while wearing regalia?
Yeah, we never really did that. We'd always kind of like keep them separate, over the years. Like we'd be asked to like perform and do culture, but we never like did it together like that. We always kind of kept them separate.
That just seems like fate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and
Definitely.
you just put out an album, Illuminatives, right? It just came out like a month or so ago.
Yeah, yep, just this New Year's.
All right, on. Yeah. I've been listening to that album a lot lately over the past couple weeks, man, and that the Godly Warriors track that's my favorite track on the album, man. Just the biggies, or not the big pun samples and everything in it, and the scratching on the chorus it's dope, man. I really dig that track a lot.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, and why too? Like that video. I know the video came out a while ago. It's been about a year or so since that video came out, but that's a super powerful video, I think, man. And the way you build the song from scratch, like as you're performing it or whatever, is awesome to see. Have you always been doing that, like sampling that?
That video?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
That is cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about that album, like how long you were working on it and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, yep. I had my other album before that, Gorilla, and that's been almost like 4 years since that came out. And so I was due, like after I started, I like dancing at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and then I went to, my friend was like, "Hey, you got to audition for America's Got Talent," Just trying to, as artists, we're always looking for, promotion, and we're just trying to do our best, just to get out there, get our name out there. And so he's like, "Yeah, try it on there, try to get on there, that'd be good." So I was going to go to America's Got Talent, and I didn't know what I was going to do, you know. And I would always see these artists doing looping. You know, they would do looping, and I was like, man, I could do that. You know, I'm a DJ. And then I thought, I just had that idea in the back of my mind, like, if I do that, I'm going to do it native style, you know. I'm going to put the cultures together in full force, you know. And not only that, but I'm going to do a prayer song, you know, like that verse you would know it comes from the Crow Hop album. So that, I was like, I'm going to do that, you know, recycle that verse. And I'm going to do the flute, I'm going to do the hand drum, you know, I'm going to scratch, I'm going to beatbox, I'm going to rap, and then I'm going to dance over my own stuff. And, you know, they can't deny me, you know. So I go down there and I do that, and they're like, yeah, good job, man. You didn't make it, you know. So after all that, I came back home, and then the Gazette, the local paper, kind of heard about my audition. And they said, hey, you want to come in and do a little story? And if you want to do like a little music video in one location, we can do that, put it on our online version. I was like, yeah, cool. So I did that. I did what I was trying to do at America's Got Talent, and I made the prayer loop song in their studio. And we put that out, and that's where it changed. You know, that's where I got the big old boost that I've been praying for, you know, for a long time. I always asked the creator, you know, I'd like a platform, you know, that would reach more people, you know, in a good way, and spread good medicine, you know, and that was the answer to that prayer, was that song just kind of going viral. So after that, I started getting booked more, and I didn't have time to record or write. I was just traveling, you know, and then so I made some other videos, made Why, and all these videos started going viral as well, you know, getting good feedback. And so this album, Illuminated, is like all those videos, like the recording and mastered version of the music.
Nice.
How
do you think has your process changed much since the Crow Hop album to now? Like, how has your writing process or creative process changed in that time?
Yeah, definitely. You know, after my grandpa kind of gave us the green light, and, you know, he just kind of embraced, like, hey, it is a good thing, it's cultural preservation to put them together, and, you know, to, you know, say your language, do your language, and be creative, you know, with the culture at the same time, you know, like keeping, I don't know, knowing where you come from most importantly, and then kind of like putting them together. That whole process, like, really kind of changed my way in recording. You know, I started seeing online, you know, what people were being touched by the most, you know, and the issues that Native people have, and they're kind of universal all over, even all over the world. And so you're like, man, you know, these issues need to have light, you know, shed upon them. And so I started going in that direction more, you know, like with culture and samples and just things like that, and being more confident in that way. But at the same time, you know, you like the Godly Warriors track. That's my favorite track. You know, I like the boom bap, old school head nodding, punchlines. You know, Famish is my other favorite on there. You know, nothing but punchlines and humor.
Yeah.
So
I like the traditional part in the beginning too,
way.
man. It's dope.
What's the one that he did with, who is it, Passionate MC? Like,
yeah, that's the Godly Warriors track.
Is that? Oh yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that's dope. Now, Crow Hop isn't your first album, right? You have another album before that, correct?
Yep, I have an album called Honest to God.
That's right. Because I had that album, man. My baby mom stole that album from me like a long time ago, and I was I was looking for that album on iTunes or something like that because I wanted to listen to it, and it's been gone from my collection for forever. But I really like that album a lot too, man. How come that's not online or anything anywhere?
Yeah, I put it on iTunes there for a while, and then I didn't pay like the fee or whatever, and they like took it down. Yeah. And then I freaking lost the CD, my only CD.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I started asking people, you know, hey, anybody got my first album? I don't even have it.
Yeah. Crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I like that album a lot. And I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it online anywhere. So I was just curious whatever happened to that. Talking about the Crow Hop album, I think that's a real important album in Native hip hop history as far as like just shows who you are, you know, as an MC and as an artist. It's real. It was really groundbreaking at the time because I mean you handle most of the production on that album too, right?
Yeah. Most of my albums I do all the production.
You do. I always feel like I've done a couple tracks. One of my biggest songs that I perform live all the time is "Sex, Drunks, and Hip Hop," and you produced that song. And I always think it's funny that Superman produced like, like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's good, man. We're gonna play your song "Stick 'Em" at the end here, which is my favorite song on that album. I really enjoy that song a lot, so I hope people at the end stick around to listen to "Stick 'Em" or whatever.
Sure, you bet.
Yeah, thanks for.
It was nice to meet you, brother. My name is Jay White. It's nice to meet you, man. You're inspiring.
Yeah.
And I like what you have to say to
Appreciate
young
that.
people. I think that's cool. I think that's cool.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate
medicine, man. For real.
Definitely. Well, definitely thanks for stopping by, Superman. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, it's definitely been been an honor to have you on here, man. And where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me at Superman Hip Hop on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and all of that. Facebook, Superman Hip Hop, or just kind of Google it and it'll probably take you there.
Right on.
Sweet.
Cool, man. Well, thanks again. Hopefully I'll catch you down at gatherings this year, man. I think I'm going to try to make it down there, so we'll catch up down there.
All right, good deal, brother.
All right, man.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Superman.
Take it easy, man.
You bet, you guys have a good one. Yep.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That was inspiring.
That was dope.
Yeah, Superman's fucking cool. And he's like the dopest like live performer I've seen.
Cool.
I'm
Like,
about
like-
to go to gatherings.
Like
Yeah.
you were saying, you
Guys,
thought it was
to be
crazy Superman made you beat, essentially because it seems like an angel made a beat for a demon.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
honest. As you know.
yeah, like cause he's a good Christian guy, doesn't swear, doesn't, do anything like that. So then, I named my album Sex, Drunks, and Hip Hop, and he produced like the title track.
the title
of the album.
track.
Yeah, and then I did a song on somebody else's album that he produced, and I had some fucked up verse on there too. So yeah, every time Superman, I get on one of his tracks, it's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Just
Well, the
go all out.
guy's really good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I definitely give credit where it's due. Like, one of my favorite things about Superman, and even though he adds like that song, what was it called? Where he does his language in the very beginning.
Godly MCs.
See, that's dope. And then when he starts rapping, he doesn't just sound like another native rapper either.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely has like the flow of hip hop culture too, which is something I really appreciate. You know what I mean? Essentially, especially because of how long you've been doing it, I feel like there's Night Shield, and then I feel like there's like 1,000 other little Night Shields that all just rap just like Night Shield. You know what I mean? And to me, it kind of like muddies up my perspective of native hip hop. Like, I'm like, why do they all sound the same? You know what I mean? But like, when I listen to this guy, or like when I listen to Maniac too, it's like, oh, no, there you go. Now that's where where we're going here. You know what I mean? I love that. So it's cool because I'm like a fan of that guy. So that was really cool to have him on the show.
I'm a big fan of his too.
Yeah. Normally I'm not like a fan of people. Normally I'm like, oh, they fucking suck too. You know. But that was dope. That was really cool.
Right on. Well, yeah, make sure you guys check out that Crow Hop album. Jennifer, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
Thank you
honor
for
to have
having
you
me. I
here.
appreciate it.
Fantastic guest today.
Appreciate
Everybody,
Awesome.
go to your Voluptuous and Velvet thing.
Next
Amen.
Friday, this Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
26th, my
Yeah.
payday.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, come to the show.
I was like, they lined this up perfect. It's payday, and that's not good.
It's both our payday.
I
then.
know. That'll be awesome. I'll be there.
Yeah.
No, it'll be
For
good.
sure.
It'll
Yeah.
be good.
And that's located on the east side, Sioux Falls.
Yep, 2121 East 10th
So
Street.
it's the basement of Last Stop.
Last Stop CD Studios. It's Last Stop Studios, and then right next door to me is the White Wall Sessions.
Oh,
And that's a live
cool.
music recording studio as well. That's where Baby D will be performing. It's
That's
a very
dope.
nice.
I want to get on that, to be honest. I never seen a rapper on White Wall.
Soul Creel's on there.
Man,
Yeah.
Well,
man, so there's White Wall Sessions, Pony Creek Studios, owned by Chad Conrad, and then you got Jeff Zuger, Dave Palmer, and Mike Yeager, and they're just the best. They're the best
When
guys
is she
ever.
performing?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
So
sometime.
it'll be music, and then walk, and talk, and then talk music again, and then talk. I don't know yet. It's up to the artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
And that's important for me, for them to have
When they're ready.
all the artistic freedom in this situation. I'm merely a vessel,
Yeah.
you know?
That's awesome.
what's the name of Superman's track?
Stick 'em. Stick 'em, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for stopping
No,
by.
thank you.
so much.
Make
Thank
sure
you.
everybody come check out Voluptuous
pleasure.
in Velvet and the Post Pilgrim. Make sure you go to iTunes or wherever you buy music from and pick up Crow Hop. We will definitely see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm excited to go watch the Vikings win tonight. And I think that's it. You guys have any last words?
No,
No.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Nope, I don't either. It was a good episode.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand. Cause it helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho. Yes. It helped Daniel get out the lion's den. It helped Gilligan get off the island. Lord.
And yo, I rocked the beats, told Satan he was soft and weak, choked him off his feet and tossed him across the street. Cause talk is cheap, I spit high balls, man, and roll with a bunch of mad gorillas like Tarzan. My God's plan is realer than reality. When I first met Jesus, he slapped the hell out of me. I used to be strapped with 9, never clap the vine and give a rap behind about these raps and rhymes. I tell the kids, look, if you don't hit the books, you end up like Tupac backwards, kaput. But God's grace is how I made it here. Cause yo can't stand me like a 3-legged chair, yeah. You don't impress me with your tiny flow done. I swing swords with the force of 90 shoguns. Besides God, I need no one. Catch me beating on my chest just like Mighty Joe Young. This ain't my style, it's loco. Superman is still so low. Put him up, my clothes low. Watch you play for the day, oh no. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, yeah. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, boy. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, let's go. I stick 'em, I stick 'em. They used to call me Curiosity because I kill cats. Now I peel back with a real rap until you feel that. I'm still strapped, but I'm attacking Satan. And the first thing tomorrow, I'ma quit procrastinating. My dad is waiting, so I'ma preach right here. But these cats are still catching the buzz like Lightyear. I'm spitting these raps, and like a person with a sleeping disorder, I'm never hitting the sack. He'll give you what you want, man, for chump change. He's the only one who can make these chumps change. It's like a circus, yo, check the verses I'm worth listening to in the service. Man, my crew tippy toe a quicksand. It's been jazz with a price, nice with quick plans. Superman, yo, I'm nice in his hands. Grip mics like a vice strike, you missing. This ain't my style, it's loco. Superman is still so low. Put him up, my clothes low. Watch you play for the day, oh no. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, yeah. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, boy. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, let's go. I stick 'em, I stick 'em. And you, me and God hold hands, you know the program. I'm only hot cause I got no fans. Fast and slow jams, I do it for the people who see life through the peephole. You know the flow, cause he rose from the dead. Now we some heroes from the dead. I grip the mic like a python when the right song. See my life strong, shield of faith up on my right arm. I walk the walk, spit number, car fire. That's why these cats don't wanna feel me like barbed wire. It's alright though, don't wanna disappoint. My king, Superman, don't disappoint. I bring life to your situation, friend. All the way to the nation's end. I ain't afraid, you won't face him, man. Styles ain't loco, we erasing sin. This ain't my style, it's loco. Superman is still so low. Put him up, my clothes low. Watch you play for the day, oh no. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, yeah. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, boy. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, let's go. I stick 'em, I stick 'em. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, yeah. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, boy. I stick 'em, I stick 'em, let's go. I stick 'em, I stick 'em. This ain't my style, it's loco. Superman is still so low. Put him up, my clothes low. Watch you play for the day, oh no. This ain't my style, it's loco. Superman is still so low. Put him up, my clothes low. Watch you play for the day, oh